Salt of the Earth Farm Stories is proudly brought to you by Grig Media. Step into the world of farmers from diverse backgrounds across Australia. Through intimate interviews, host Darren Grigg delves into farming practices, traditions, and the challenges farmers face in nurturing the land.
Tim and Jessica Scott created Tabletop Angus. Today, Tim discusses genetic gain, AI, embryo transfer, genomics, and more. Now let's kick back for part B. So we're back at Tabletop Angus today with the founder and legendary Tim Scott. Morning, Tim.
Hi, Darren. Thanks for coming.
Tim, just to recap, where are we and what are you running here?
Tabletop Angus, 15 k's north of Albury. Here we run about 1,200 Angus breeders, 800 of those being Angus stud cows, and then we sell in excess of 200 bulls a year. We have an annual bull sale on generally the second Friday in September that we present at this stage 50 odd bulls, and then we continue selling private treaty for the rest of the year. Yeah.
So is your main focus bulls?
Yes and no, I suppose. Yeah, I suppose we are Angus seed stock producers, so we have but we also sell steers to backgrounders or to feedlots, pregnancy tested in calf heifers, mature cows, whatever we have, we can sell.
It's seriously a beautiful property, Tim. But what sort of country would you call this? Is it soft country or is it undulating?
I suppose undulating. If it doesn't rain, I don't know. Not sure what you call it, but no, we're very fortunate where we are, sort of at the doorstep of Albury, which is we've got the best of both worlds, close to town, but then it's far enough out of town that you still got a bit of country life.
What are the main genetic influences you were looking for?
When we're breeding cattle, or Jessica does a fair bit of most of the sourcing the genetics. Well, firstly, I suppose temperament. That's just number one, and then structure and fertility. But then when we're looking at animals or bull selection, yeah, we sell a lot of bulls for heifers or to go over first calver, so birth weight. So we want to be breed average or below, but then still have optimum growth. And then the carcass, a lot of producers sell their stock that go to feedlots, so you want the eye muscle area and the IMF, but still also the positive fat cover, so that those producers, also the other producers that are producing a self-replacing herd, have still got easy doing females moving forward.
How do you measure that IMF?
It's done by an electric scanner. Liam Cardile from a local chap does that, and then I don't completely understand how it all works, but you get a measurement, and then it goes into a computer, and that determines that linkage to that individual animal sort of thing. Like all figures, they're a guide. But it's a balance of a breeding animal.
And how important is AI here?
Very important. We're almost wrapping up our last program, Darren, but we would have done close to 1,000 females in the last 3 weeks. So it's been a fairly taxing period.
Wow.
And why do we do it? We're getting new genetic gain. Like as we say, we sell bulls, so we've got to try and bring in new genetics. So every year we'd probably bring in 20 or 30% new blood, but also going with what we've been happy with. But it's also condenses your calving pretty well. So yeah, we're talking about late June, July. We're very, very busy. Yeah, a lot of, depending on the conception, but a lot of calves hitting the ground quickly. So yeah.
So you're calving over a 2 months period, or?
We'll close that 7 or 8 weeks. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
But a lot of those calves come in depending on when they're AI'd, in a very short period of time. So I could be tagging and weighing and identifying 50 to 60 calves some days.
Oh,
yeah.
Busy times.
It's busy times, but still, you've just got to do it. It's there's a lot of work that happened 9 months prior to that, so you've just got to get out of bed and chase down a few calves.
So do you keep them a bit closer to home to keep an eye on them?
I suppose we have our calving paddocks, and then we carve them down. Yeah, not that we try to have too many calving problems, but then we drift the ones that have calved to further paddocks, but we have them sort of in their calving mobs. Yeah, works well.
Now I was reading on your website about the breed plan. What's involved to be part of that?
Australian Angus breed plan. What's involved? Well, then I suppose what we correlate is we give the joining details of our females and the birth weight of the calf and the 200-day weights and these scanning data of EMA and IMF and fat cover. So that's all correlated, and that gives well, the individual figures of these bulls that we're selling or females that we're selling. And then moving on from that, you have genomics, which is where you take a tissue sample or a hair sample from an individual animal, and that virtually determines the makeup of that individual animal.
So that data's available to buyers?
Yes, it's presented to the buyer. So yeah, like us and fellow producers, yeah, we've collated a fair bit of information, but then that information goes into a big database, I suppose, and that's spun out. And then yeah, when people want to buy a particular animal from us, we've got that information to them, and hopefully the information is accurate. Yeah.
Tim, your cattle are in great condition and look happy and content. What's the secret there?
Feed. You just try to keep them in a decent condition all the time. I suppose if I quote my grandfather, yeah, he always said it's like a wheel. You want to keep that wheel ticking over. Like if it stops, it's hard to get it going again. So same with cattle, you've got to just keep them ticking over. And then I suppose, yeah, well, I'm not sure. Well, it could be a challenging end of year in front of us, quite obviously. But yeah, that the condition of the cow determines a lot of things. So we might have to wean early so that the calves aren't taking too much condition off that cow. So as which I'm relating to, it's hard to get that. And if that cow loses too much condition, it's hard to get her going. And same with that calf, if it's getting a bit restricting its feed, yeah. So we've got to make other management decisions. Yeah.
And you said earlier about temperament. How do you get that at that right level? Is it breeding it into it, or can you train them a little bit?
Oh, breeding is very important. It's the management of the animals too. Like the way Jessica handles the animals is, it's quiet and easy, and yeah. So they feel at ease with us, and yeah, I suppose we have a few dogs around too, which it's just a combination so that if when we sell animals, they're used to different things, so that when they go there, then they can adapt easily. You can have all these figures and all the rest, but yeah, temperament's so much important you just want to enjoy working with the animals, not against them.
Can you describe some of the key practices you use at Tabletop Angus to ensure high quality livestock?
Probably the genetics that we use, whether they're AI size or our own bulls that I think are probably on a par to the AI size. Yeah, they're the practices, and just, I suppose we've just got a picture of a female or females or animals that's what we want to breed, and you can get caught up in different fads and all the rest, but this is what we want to breed, and we're going to stick to it. Now, at our recent bull sale, our bulls were like peas and pods, so even in type, and that was related to the sale. Yeah, we didn't have an excessive high price bull, but we had a very solid sale because it was a relation to how those bulls looked themselves, just even. And our commercial heifers that we sold on the same day, same again, even. Yeah. Another quote from footy, I suppose in a football, you want their best game and their worst game to be close as possible. And same with our breeding. You want animals to average, because the average is what goes in the bank.
Well said. But you put a lot of focus on maintaining a moderate size for your calving and ease of calving.
Dead calves don't put on much weight, so you want ease of calving. You want live calves, but also, particularly when a female calves, you want her to have an easy calving. And that relates to how she rebreeds. She gets in calf the next time. She's calved down well. She's gone on to a rising plane of nutrition. She should breed well, and that's what you want cows to do, or to breed within 365 days per year.
And when you're weaning, do you have a certain program? Do you keep them close and then move them away gradually, or do you just?
Depending on the season, we yard wean, or sometimes we can fence wean, because our cattle are generally quiet enough to do that. But just work with them, but depending on the season, hopefully they wean well.
So at what age do you sell your bulls?
Start selling our bulls at probably 13, 14 months of age on property sale, and then we continue, and then we've always got bulls coming through. They're well grown. They've all had their vaccinations, and then they've been reproductively checked by our local vets. So we've done everything possible that we can to guarantee that they're right to go out and do the job. But we still, hopefully the producer looks after them. And then it's very important to have your females preg tested probably as quick as you can, 4 to 6 weeks after the bull's out, so that if there's been an issue, it's dictated pretty quickly. Yeah.
Is there one main thing that producers are looking for in a bull?
Oh, temperament, but ability to work, I suppose, is the most important thing. Yeah, get out and do the job. Yeah.
Tim, the bull sale you have each year here, it's quite a big event, isn't it?
Oh, it is, Darren. Yeah, there's a lot of work goes into it. Quite obviously, the selection of those bulls. Well, that happens a couple of years prior to that with the joining of those females to those particular size, so that you're thinking this is what we want to be presenting on our sale day in a couple of years' time. And then for those bulls to be presented, well, there's a lot that goes into it. Yeah, they've got to be vet checked, they've got to be scanned, they've got to be suitable for the clients, quite obviously. It's a day that you put on your calendar. We put on our calendar, second Friday in September. That's what we've been running with. Yeah, no, it's exciting. A lot of work goes into it.
Yeah, in the few years leading up to it, but then to that day, you've got catering, you've got video streaming, you've got people undercover, some beautiful yards, car parking. There's a lot you've got to think about.
I suppose, yeah, when we started this, the display yards had to be built, which we're proud of what we've built. They're substantial yards. They're not going to fall over. Everyone sees them and appreciates them. Yeah, but then, cataloguing, like Jessica does a wonderful job putting the catalogue together. Yeah, there's a lot of work and editing and that sort of thing. We've all played a lot of sport, but I suppose the first sale that we've had, I probably couldn't sleep the night before, because you're putting yourself out there. You're putting yourself out there, and but we have agents that support us very, very well. So we're grateful for what they do for us. And then our client base, when we decided to have an on-property sale, spoke to the clients, and they probably could understand that was the next stage of tabletop Angus. And they appreciate, they support, they still support us with private treaty bulls. So it's the next stage, and it's given us more exposure as tabletop Angus, the brand. So keep moving forward, I suppose, Darren.
How'd you go with feed this year, Tim? It's been a dry year to date.
It's been challenging. Yeah, we did make a fair bit of fodder ourselves. We've used a little bit of silage that we had conserved over the period of time. We had to buy some in. Yeah, no, it's probably the most challenging year we've actually had, I reckon, because I did recall someone saying in this area that you generally, if you don't get an autumn, you get a spring, or vice versa. But I don't think we've really had either.
No.
Yeah, so it's been challenging, but as the decisions, you got to make decisions. You got to make them early, and you just got to go with them, and that's what Jessica and myself did. We probably sold off weaners a little bit earlier than normal. Quite obviously, our cows that were not in calf, they were sold early. Just decisions. Yeah, we made them quickly. Later calving cows we probably sold off too. Yeah, but we've kept the nucleus of our herd.
Did you have to containment feed this year? We
did containment feed, and that is a very important practice. Locking your animals up so that if you're feeding them, they're not burning off excess energy, and you're preserving your ground cover on the rest of your farm, so that when it does rain and that country was fertilised too, it can respond. Yeah, so it is a good practice.
What are some of the biggest challenges with breeding Angus in particular?
I suppose the gene pool could be getting a little bit small at times, so you've got to be a bit diverse. And in our area, it's a lot of competition too. So there's a lot of Angus studs and a lot of very progressive Angus studs, quite obviously. So you've just got to keep striving to be the best that we possibly can be. Yeah.
Have you adopted any innovative technologies or methods?
Well, I suppose we did the practices of AIing and ET, embryo transferring, of our fair bit of that.
Embryo transferring, big process, detailed?
Embryo transferring, I suppose you're using your elite cows, which are called donors, and you're putting them into, that fertilised embryo into a cow that mightn't be quite as superior. So you're probably trying to accelerate your genetic gain that way. It's like everything, it's an expense involved. Yeah, but it can be beneficial.
We talked about your dogs earlier. Do you use dogs to muster?
We do use dogs. We probably have a little bit of an interesting brigade of dogs at times, people probably would be a bit amused. We do have a couple of Jack Russells and a miniature dachshund.
Does the dachshund get out there with the cattle too?
Oh yeah, no, she's fairly forceful. We do have a border collie too, but I suppose we use our dogs selectively. But I think it is important that when we sell bulls or females or whatever, that they are used to, they have seen dogs, or so it is important.
Yeah. Actually, Tim, I remember doing an interview out here with you 22 years ago, in fact, and my second board had only just entered the world, and I was the proud dad of Jack and Sam. And we're standing out in the middle of the paddock, and you whistled up 2 dogs. Jack, Sam, come over here. All respect to your dogs, that deflated me a little bit.
Lovely names for dogs and boys. That is amusing. Yeah.
What advice would you give to young people interested in pursuing a career in agriculture?
Oh, enjoy it. Get involved. It's a challenge. Yeah, you're dictated by the season. You're price takers, but it is a nice lifestyle. Yeah, so embrace it. Yeah, be ready for the challenges. Marry a wife that's pretty resilient.
Are there any emerging trends in farming or livestock management that you're particularly excited about? Sounds like your fingers on the pulse, mate, with what you've told me about already.
In the last period of time, genomics, that is something fairly interesting, how just a little piece of hair or tissue or something can determine the makeup of that individual. Yeah, I find that fascinating, actually. I suppose collectively, Jessica and myself have been, I don't know, showing our age here, breeding Angus cattle for decades, I suppose. So yeah, we must enjoy what we're doing, and our children are very much included in that or involved in that too. So yeah, I think that's something that you've got a family connection in.
Well, I say congratulations to you and Jessica for what you're doing here, mate. It's been fascinating chatting to you, mate, and congratulations and thanks very much for your time.
Thanks, Darren, and hopefully it rains end of the week.
Hopefully. You'll be up north.
Rain's up there.
I'd love it if you could follow us on Facebook. Search Salt of the Earth Farm Stories.
Salt of the Earth Farm Stories is proudly brought to you by Grig Media.